Welcome back. Thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please like, share, and subscribe. I am growing this channel very slowly but surely, but it's a lot of fun doing it. I'm doing something a little bit different today. I am installing a Lincoln locker, or in my case, a Miller locker. What's involved here is this particular spool, as I will call it at this point, used to be a grizzly locker, and when you break one of these grizzly lockers, all the teeth go away on the ratcheting. So we take out the springs and we put them back together and we weld around it, grind it down enough so that we know it'll fit into the carrier of a 14 bolt. That is what we are doing here. So now, instead of having a grizzly locker in this 14 bolt, I have got a mini spool is basically all this is. So today I am going to install a mini spool in this 14 bolt. Throughout the years, I really enjoy helping a lot of these young people learn mechanics. I help a lot of these kids with 4-links and lockers and stuff like that. I really try to encourage them to learn, and I'm always willing to put my time in if they're willing to put their time in. So a little bit of backstory on this truck that is coming in. We're going to do the welded locker here. Anna, I've watched her grow up from a little kid. I've gone to some of her events as she was growing up. Real good kid. She now has a family of her own. She's bringing the whole family down to help put this rear end in. A few years ago, she graduated high school, and I told her I would put this spool in the rear of her pickup, because last summer on a trip with me and her dad and a couple other guys, she decided to follow her dad up a very hard section of 21 road and pretty much put a dent or crease in every body panel of this truck. You know, some people do it one small dent at a time. She just got it all over with in one shot. But the big reason she got all stuck up in this particular obstacle area was she couldn't get enough traction. Now, her truck does have a grizzly locker in the front axle they put in, got a good deal on it. And with the rear end open, she at least had a true 3-wheel drive. Well, when she got hung up in this section, the rear wheel just spinning and nothing's happening. So I told her for her graduation present, I would help her put this locker in. That's kind of the backstory on that. Now let's talk about putting a spool or a full-time locker in the rear of this truck. If you are going to do this, understand that it is pretty much not streetable anymore. You can drive them on the street. When you turn a corner, because there is no differentiating between the axles, the outside wheel gets drug and it barks and it pulls and it drives funny and all those things. The worst part about putting a full-time locker in a rear wheel vehicle is when you have snow, rain, loose gravel, things like that. Some sort of a low traction surface on the road. The rear end likes to break loose and pass the front end up, put you into a spin or a skid. Now, to avoid that, if you're going to run a full-time locker in the rear and you're in a 4-wheel drive, you lock in the front end, 4-wheel drive high. Your front end will help track as it's pulling and the rear is pushing. It's at least drivable at lower speeds that way. This particular truck has a full-time locker in the front already. Her dad acquired this at a previous employer. They got a good deal on it. They threw it in there figuring you can put a full-time locker in the front as long as it's not in the back and it's still very drivable, and it has been very drivable. The front end allows it to pull with both wheels and the rear allows tracking. So now that we are putting a locker in the rear and she has a full-time locker in the front, not a selectable locker like an ARB where you can disconnect it, this thing's locked up. She is a true 4-wheel drive at all times. She cannot select and disconnect one or the other axles. That makes this very difficult to drive at anything above about 10-15 miles an hour in snowy conditions. You'll get there, but it's going to be slow. The reason is as you turn or try to turn, your outside wheels need to turn more than your inside wheels, so it breaks traction. Once the traction breaks, you've got your wheels turned, say, to the left, and the wheels are trying to pull this way. The inertia is going this way from the truck already, and then you start getting into physics, vector force. You have a small vector force turning this way, you have your large vector force pushing this way, your frictional surface breaks loose, inertia takes over, the truck goes straight forward on the turn right off the road. And it does. And if you actually look at the slide marks when that happens, because your wheels are turned having a small vector force go in this direction and large vector forces, it actually has a very nice sweeping curve as it goes off the road. So heed that warning if you are going to do a poor man's school in the rear and have lockers in the front. She's at the point in her life now where she has a vehicle she can drive daily. This is an off-road vehicle now. And I think what she really wants to do is to keep up with the big kids traction-wise and be able to run the trail that she couldn't run last year. And I think she'll be able to do it now. There we go. That's actually enough fluid. I definitely would say time to replace it. It's not clear anymore.
Okay. Okay.
So if you're doing a written opinion, that's when you have to do setup patterns and stuff. Just doing a locker, all we're doing is replacing the internal guts to the carrier.
Okay.
So all we have to do for measurements is check the backlash. There's metal of something in here.
Oh, there's metal?
He's on that pretty close, so. Okay, we got 24 thousandths. So I'm going to assume it was probably set up a little loose. But we need to set it back to 24 thousandths,
Okay.
provided the gears are okay. Yeah, most people, and I was doing on one of my videos, most people, you know, they'll put a dent in one year, and that's the one that is really bothering them, and then, you know, next year or two, they'll put a dent here and there. Pretty soon, you know, no dents, no big deal.
Yeah.
But, you know, you did all yours on one trail.
Sure did. Everything except this back panel. By my tail end, we did that on the pickle.
So if you're into these, make sure you mark your bearing caps or separate them. I always recommend marking them. So I'm just setting them where I want them.
They are different. Even though they don't really look like it, they are different.
They're line boards, so if you put them in and they're pull that axle out just a little bit further. I don't know if I've got the axle or that's usually I have to loosen up both sides of the spanners because because they'll catch the actual carrier and not the bearing. I ended up having you hold this while I torque it back down once I get the locker in.
Okay.
But I put that out there if you want to scrape the silicone off it.
Yeah, I can do that.
Get it ready for going back together while I'm impacting.
I can do that.
Yeah, there you go. Chip. I think I know where your metal came from. It's got a worn out Gov-lock. Okay, so much for the easy button. We will not be able to use this particular insert for this carrier. Anytime you pull a 14 bolt and you see a 3 dowel pin instead of a 4, you can pretty much be assured it's got that oddball Gov-lock in it. As you can see, this has 4 dowel pins. This carrier has 3 and they're in a kind of a peace sign shape, so triangulated. So the easy button is out. Now I have to actually make this into a spool, and that's where the welder is going to come in handy. So anytime you're going to weld one of these lockers and make a spool, on this particular style, I set the spider gears in the carrier housing with the side gears, and I tack everything in, and then I flip it over into the other half of the housing and I tack those in, and then I pull the whole thing out and weld it. The reason being is I want it all to be able to fit back in that carrier house. Now, I'm going to leave the clutches in this one because they just take up room. If they warp too bad, I'll take them out, but otherwise I'll put them back in. I will also, just to keep everything tight, keep the thrust washers in there. Less clunking, the better. And even though none of that will matter, once all these spiders and side gears are welded together, it is a spool. I have never had one of these break if you weld them well. So we're going to make this into a true 4-wheel drive the harder way. Clean off the spiders, heat them up so that they burn the oil off, and then I'm going to weld them in the carrier, and then I'll pull these out of the carrier and flip them and weld that side. It's warm.
Probably just a little bit.
I have this thing about Make sure everything's lined up when you weld it,
Yeah.
because it probably won't be lined up if you try to eyeball it on the ground. Cool. I got everything tapped enough that I can just run beads right down there. All right. I always plan for the little, oops, we missed something. Okay, all lined up. This side, it still has a gap. I'll have to tap it and as you're screwing it. We'll come back to it. This is the part I hate doing by myself.
Because Jud's hoping.
Cool. It stayed. Look, just a rag is all you need to do the axle flanges. They're serrated, so it doesn't take much to seal those. Quick, easy stuff. Little silicone. Zip the axles back in. Silicone covers back on. I got helpers today, so I don't have to do all the oily work filling it up. Life's good. All right, well, that didn't go as planned, but that's okay. gotta make a locker anyway. The metal I saw inside the differential is obviously from the Gov-lock part of that limited slip. We did put all the limited slip clutches back in after I welded all the spiders up, just to take up the space in case there was any tolerances that we just didn't want to deal with. They're non-functioning anyway, you can leave those out. You don't have to put those clutches back in. I haven't seen a 3-dowel 14 bolt in probably 25-30 years. They're pretty rare, and it's, you know, because of the style of Gov-lock it is, but I still have a 4-pin homemade spool now, and she's got a spool that success. We have a true 4-wheel drive. We have a Lincoln, well, Miller locker in the rear of this, all back together, sealed up, and on the road. Appreciate you watching. I know this isn't my normal, you know, do it by the book thing, because sometimes you just do it because you can. Please like, share, and subscribe. I really do appreciate it, and thanks for watching.
Flying this way or this way?
Whichever.
Is it gonna drop away this way?
If you go this side, it'll drop you over. If you go that side, it's just twisty. You can go straight here if you want. It'll twist you up pretty good. I can't, I roll.
I can pick it up on this. It might help. Keep going a little bit more. All right, right there. Go in now.
Which way am I going to go here?
I don't fucking know. Where are you trying to go? Out?
Oh, if I do rear only, can I burn the rear up high?
Is there a hole on the other side?
I feel like he could about back up the rear up that rock right there if he turned into it and did it. And then maybe get straightened up a little. I don't know.
What do you think, Dane?
There's no tree shins behind that.
Just something you don't see every day on the trail. A big old gray owl hanging out and then flying over the top of us. our successful clean pass at Hard Knocks.
Yeah.